Hello, investors. It is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Tuesday, July 30th, coming to you from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. So for market state, we still have it labeled as a correction. And if we look at trend gauge, market leaders, we're keeping the red arrow there as they still aren't able to write themselves out yet. Short term, this is our 21 EMA. We have the red arrow as well, although small and mid caps continue to trade above and outperform. Our medium term, we have the green arrow. The S&P is just hovering right around the 50-day right now. The Qs are trading below and small and mid caps above. And then long term, this is our 200-day moving average, and the green arrow remains there. So what happened today? Well, we continue to see the tale of two markets, relative weakness in the NASDAQ and big tech names, and then relative strength and defensive. That's where you see the Dow up 0.47% today, and then mid caps and Russell all green on the day. So our 21 over 21 list was down 0.22%, split even, 10 up, 10 down, and 1 neutral. Big 8 down 1.68%. RG8, this is our 8 growth composite, down 0.53%. S&P 500 down 0.5%. Equal weight up 0.48%. QQQ down 1.37%. Equal weight down 0.63%. 60/40 down 0.46%, and in-house GROTECTION down 0.17%. So let's get into the inter-asset correlation. So first, got a chart of the S&P 500 here, and as you can see, we're 10 basis points below the 50-day right now. We tried to rally up into that declining 8 and got rejected, and for now, we want to see a pop back above, and this 5,500 continues to be resistance. If I pull up a 60-minute chart, you can just see the trend's been down, weak rally up, down again, and this 5,400 spot is going to be key heading in tomorrow. But as you can see, we did get a decent close today, but overall, most of the day we are trending down. QQQ continues to reject this declining 8 EMA and trading below the 50-day. And as you can see, this RS line continuing down, and that relative weakness we're seeing. I'll pull up a 15-minute chart. And yeah, we're wedging this rally. We found a low right here, and then we just started to wedge up. And as you can see, we broke lower. And this has kind of been the theme, right? Going lower, trying to wedge back up and resulting lower. For the bull case, we are seeing that daily stochastic reset, but overall the chart doesn't look great. We're keying in on this 450 spot. This was the base breakout here, back here. So, maybe an undercut and reclaim, and this could get some legs. Dow Jones looks a lot better than the Qs, up 0.5% today, and seeing rotation into those defensive type names, and this reclaim that 40,000 level, and this index is one of the better looking ones right now. Mid caps still showing relative strength. RS line tells the story right here, and overall looks constructive. Russell 2000 setting up a continuation flag here. FOMC is a big catalyst tomorrow, so maybe that could propel this higher out of this flag. Big picture, in a stage 2 uptrend, so we continue. Hopefully this can continue, and we're going to monitor if it if it doesn't and it comes back into the space. But overall, it's acting great. The VIX, we're seeing that elevated volatility up almost 7% on the day, and living above this 15 level. Broke out here, and really want to see this come down for some relief in the markets. The dollar, tried to break out of this range yesterday, but getting rejected at the downward sloping 50-day. Gold, The stochastic starting to hook up, building a higher low from oversold, and this bounce at the 50-day here. Now it's coming against a downtrend line. So we'll see if it gets into this top of this 225 base. And sometimes gold is a place that people like to rotate into when there's fear and uncertainty. And with the election, with geopolitical, their market definitely is feeling some of that. Gold stocks, pretty strong today. Watching this 37.47 level, held the 50-day, and these commodities are often best bought on weakness. Silver held this 25 spot, starting to rally into the declining 8. Bitcoin still in this big base, very choppy price action here, but maybe these average moving averages can start to flatten out and slope back up, and this looks like it just needs some more time. Total bonds, broad bonds, up 0.12 on the day, and overall looking constructive, showing some RS recently. TLT, again, this has got the moving average launch pad look, relative strength line hooked back up, and this is trying to clear a pretty big downtrend line from the highs. And this often moves on FOMC, so we'll be monitoring that tomorrow. 30-year rejected this 200-day moving lower, and 10-year again moving lower. And these look like they're breaking down, and obviously this down means TLT up, so that's a correlation that we are monitoring. All right, so if we get into the tail of the tape, so we still have market staying under correction. We saw VIX getting a rally today, up 6.57% on the day, and fear and greed, that was neutral yesterday. That's back into fear now. And pretty busy for the rest of the week. We had Microsoft earnings after the close, and I'll pull that chart up here. So let's see Microsoft. They are down 6% after hours, and they're below this 400 level. That's the 200-day. So that's a huge red flag for the market. This is a big name in for tech, and seeing this break below the 200-day on earnings isn't a great sign, but we'll see. It's at 397 right now, maybe undercuts and reclaims, but not the reaction that you want to see for a big tech name like Microsoft. Some other things tomorrow, the big one, we have the FOMC, often pretty volatile. Wednesday, Meta reports, Apple and Amazon on Thursday, and then an NFP report on Friday. So some of the sectors today, KIE, this is insurance. This was strong today, breaking out. XLE, energy, transports were strong. Financials and home builders continue to act well. And then weakness, tech continues to show that relative weakness. ARK, Bitcoin, and then biotech. And in-house, only 2 actions today. We sold the rest of the NVIDIA and the NVIDIA hedge, and then we bought DFEN. And I'll pull up a chart of DFEN and just to showcase. So this ITA, so this is the aerospace and defense. And as you can see, this is broke out of the space and has been showing major relative strength. And if you look at some of the components, Lockheed Martin, this was catalyzed on earnings and a huge move up. Raytheon closing at the high of the day today, breaking out of this base, and this was also catalyzed on an earnings report. And then some other ones, HWM, they reported this morning, gapping out of a pretty nice base, good earnings, EPS, and then FTAI, another aerospace and defense name, hanging out right at the highs. So definitely seeing a clear theme in this sector, and it's notable to see all of these names holding up really well and showing relative strength. And so if we take a look at NVIDIA, we sold the rest of this and the hedge today and just clearly losing relative strength. Some of this, you know, this is looking like institutional selling versus a clean pullback. You can see this was a bit of a blow off top day outside reversal. You had another one here, and this coincided on volume. And just in this period, the sell volume has been quite heavy. Clear break of the 50-day, tried to rally back up into a declining 8, rejecting and moving lower. Clearly, this 197 level prior from the base breakout is going to be an important spot. And overall, this is just your market leader in the AI. So if this continues to be weak, you'd imagine that it's not going to bode well for other tech stocks. And just to have a glimpse, Micron, this is now over 30% off its highs coming into the 200-day. Dell, this is another one, like 40% off its highs coming back into the 200-day. ARM breaking the 50-day with volume. And so if you have no sell discipline, these high beta, high growth stocks can come back on you quick. So that's why we locked the gains in from there, and NVIDIA has been a great hold. So let's take a look at some of the 21 over 21. Sprouts Farmers Market, this strong today. Was gapping up 20% pre-market, but closed in the lower end of the range. But good to see that retail supermarket strength. LNG, this is an oil and gas name, forming a bit of a cup and handle. KKR, they report tomorrow. XLF, we own FAS, and these banks continue to be strong. Take a look at Goldman Sachs, back above this 500 key level. ITB, I mentioned home builders. These are just kind of on a lockout rally since that gap. And I'll just pull up Toll Brothers, PHM, KBH. This group's on watch if it can pull back as it's in a bit of a lockout right now. XBI, so biotech has been showing great strength. This is finally starting to pull back. It's coming back into the 21-day in a bit of a cup and handle base, and this is starting to look attractive, and we'd play this via LABU, which is the biotech ETF. Some of the weak links on the 21, GLW, they reported earnings today and closed the day down 7%. Coinbase, like I mentioned, Bitcoin just continues to be volatile. And this reports earnings, so it looks like earnings could be the catalyst to get this out of this range, but very choppy price action in this 200 to 260 range. Palantir, this has been very strong for the last month, but now this is pulling back into the 50-day. See if it can hook back and U-turn around. ISRG coming back into the 50-day, and then ARC rejected the 200-day and coming back in. And Coinbase and Tesla are two of our top holdings. And Tesla had that gap down, and we mentioned this on video, rallied back up into this declining 21, rejecting and closed the day down 4%. So that one is losing its momentum, especially after it showed up ants right there. And yeah, so with a lot more earnings reports later this week, economic data and weakness in market leaders, we're kind of watching the market and watching these breakouts to see if they can hold and see if the market starts to, gives better positive feedback. We're focused on, these small cap sectors as they're holding up the best. And the QQQ and the S&P 500 are getting a bit oversold. So perhaps if they rally back up into this declining 50-21, that could either be a wedge pop, or it could be a short entry, as the QQQs is around nearly 10% off its highs, which is quite a lot. Sometimes it could be like shorting the whole. So we're just taking it day by day, and we're going to see and listen to what the market tells us. And that is going to wrap it. As I always like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com, and then you can reach out to Dan or Don at revereasset.com. Phone is 855-REAL-WEALTH. That is 855-732-5932. And if you're interested in becoming a client, please reach out. And with that, I will wrap it for Tuesday, July 30th. This is Connor Bates with Revere Asset Management, telling it like it is. Thanks for listening, and have a good night.